Hi, Potomac and Chesapeake. Welcome to the Potomac and Chesapeake Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you are here. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, if you have any questions at all, feel free to submit those using the Q&A button. You are welcome to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. Your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. This is one of many college presentations being offered tonight, so feel free to sign up for more sessions at the same place where you registered for this one. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/PCACAC. We are currently in session E1, where my mouse is circling at the moment. And this is also the same order of presentations. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way and introduce our first representative from Marist College.
Thank you. And good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I will share my screen and get this started. My name is Jesse Mungeon. I am one of the admission counselors at Marist College. I am also an alum of the college. I graduated in 2011 with my degree in criminal justice and a minor in psychology. I've been working for the college close to 10 years now. It is a pleasure to be able to speak with you today. Just a little bit about Marist. Hopefully this is going to work. Here we go. So just a little bit about Marist. Marist is a private liberal arts college located in Poughkeepsie, New York. Poughkeepsie is an hour and a half north of New York City, hour and a half south of Albany. So we're nestled right in between these two larger cities. And it's a wonderful area. And it offers a ton of different opportunities for our students. This is what the campus looks like. As you can see, we're nestled right on the Hudson River. So there's a lot of different activities and opportunities for students to take advantage of. In terms of our size, we are a mid-sized institution. We have just over 5,000 undergraduate students. We're studying 47 different majors. There is tons of flexibility for students. So if you're interested in double majoring or having a major and then minor in a different area, you have that ability to do that while at Marist. Some students have pushed that more for 2 or 3 minors, or a double major with a couple different minors. We also have some certificate programs that allow students to really pursue their passions and their goals. We do have graduate programs as well. Majority of the students who are in our graduate programs are taking classes online, but we do offer some 5-year accelerated programs for students, and I'll show you some of those on the next slide. We have students coming from 47 different states, 64 different countries. Class sizes are typically small, 16 to 1 student faculty ratio, and a majority of our students live on campus for really all 4 years, but starting their first year for sure. In terms of the academic programs, this is what we have to offer. We're really all over the place. We have sciences, we have arts and communications, we have criminal justice and business and such. So it really is depending on the interests of the school, the student. But we do offer, again, 4-year degrees in all these areas, and then there are some options. If you could see down on the in the bottom right, the options for the 5-year accelerated programs as well. We also have pre-professional programs. And then in terms of the academic experience, it's a lot of hands-on experiential learning. We want to give our students internship quality type experiences on our campus before they leave. So we have state-of-the-art facilities that students get to utilize and really get comfortable with before they go on to do an internship. We help students in terms of gaining internship. 83% of our students will complete at least one. Many will go on to complete more. That typically starts your sophomore year, and after that, We also have the opportunity for any student who's interested to do research. And then we also send students abroad. We have our own campus in Florence, Italy, but we send students abroad all around the world, and really try to make it as accessible as possible for students to do so. And then in terms of student life experience, we have a very active and engaged student body, whether that is being involved with one of the 23 Division I sports that we have, being involved in our music and theater program, which are not majors. You could just be a student wanting to participate in the arts and get involved there. There's a bunch of different clubs and organizations. So there's a lot going on that our students get to take advantage of while pursuing whatever degrees that they're interested in. So I would say Marist is not the type of place that students typically go home on the weekends. If anything, they are going to take advantage of the different things in our area, or take advantage of different activities in New York City. Sometimes that we sponsor, like $25 tickets to go see Broadway shows and things like that. In terms of the application process, these were the dates for this past year that just ended. But the real thing that just like to highlight is the mission profile of the accepted students. So the middle 50% of our students had the GPA range that you can see there. And then as far as test scores, we are test optional and have been for over 10 years now. So we have we're not going to change that whatsoever. So you don't have to submit test scores, and you can still get accepted and still receive scholarship from us as well. And then we are currently open for visits. We're going to be open for in-person visits throughout the summer, but also we have a ton of different virtual opportunities for students to visit our campus as well. Definitely recommend visiting any college that you're interested in. And lastly, this is my information. So if anyone has any questions, I'll put it in the chat as well. You can reach out to me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great night.
Great, thank you. The next representative is from Goucher College.
Great, thanks so much. Just share my screen. And I've got my timer going, so I'll be on time here. Okay, so thanks everyone. I'm just going to go over Goucher College really quickly. My name's Joe Shields. I'm an admissions counselor at Goucher. I've been with Goucher for about 6 years now. I can just get it to go to the first one. Okay, so I like to just start off talking about location. Our physical address is listed as Baltimore, Maryland. We're actually, I'll show you just about a mile north of that. But I really love Baltimore. I like to talk about this a great deal because you could come to Goucher and spend a tremendous amount of time in your 4 years in the city. There's 14 different colleges in the Baltimore area. We share resources. You can go to different campuses. Obviously, it's a really fun thing to do on a weekend. Typically, students will stay on campus, most of the week, but they might pop in on a Saturday or Sunday. This is downtown, the Inner Harbor. This is also kind of by the water, Fells Point, really nice area. It's also really great to have for internships. I'll talk about that a bit later on. But Baltimore is a really great asset. Again, we're just a mile north. And it confuses people because our address is listed as a city, but we're actually located in Towson, Maryland. So we feel quite rural. We're about, 287 acres. It's very wooded. We have a hiking trail with about 1.5 miles of a trail right on our campus. We even have horses on campus. I think that does the best job kind of describing our situation. We have a little fewer than 30 horses on campus. So it's very green. It's not a suitcase school. Students are sticking around. It's very laid back, kind of a slower atmosphere. So instead of sticking in, a study hall or a formal study room, students will usually be out on a hammock or something like that, and very residential. So it's nearly all of our students are staying on campus all 4 years. That is the default. But this is just a more formal breakdown of our category school. We're also private, residential, liberal arts college. You can see we're probably on the smaller end of the scale for enrollment number for what you're looking at, different colleges on your list. So that'll mean different smaller class sizes. You can see the average here, it's about 10 to 1 students to faculty. So I know you hear that a lot, you know, the class sizes and whatnot. But it really is an engaging atmosphere for classroom dynamic. Quickly, I'll also just mention last year's incoming class. So it really is a diverse group. I can honestly say Goucher students are very excited to get to know the next incoming class. And this is just a quick look at majors. Being a liberal arts school will have you try a little bit of everything, but it's very easy to explore different interests. You can change your major quite easily. A lot of students come to Goucher undecided. You can dual major very readily. One thing I like to highlight just halfway down the center column here, the individualized interdisciplinary major. It's basically just crafting your own focus of study with 3 different disciplines. So you have a lot of room to play with your academic exploration, but then you also have a lot of support from faculty. So that's just a quick look at majors and standalone minors. I hate to talk so quickly about academics, but basically you can explore a lot of different things. Back to more of the classroom environment. You won't have too many lectures. I won't say we have 0 lectures at Goucher, but we try to have it be more interactive. This is actually an outdoor classroom setting we have when the weather's nice. Doing research is quite easy. We have a formal summer science research program where you can jump on research a professor is doing, or the other way around. If you want to conduct research, a professor can help with that. Research can take a lot of different forms, though. It can be qualitative, it can be ethnographic. It doesn't just have to be, you know, with lab coats in a lab. So again, that's something professors are really excited to kind of draw out your interest and help you explore. One point I really want to hammer home, though, is study abroad. I would definitely encourage you to give Goucher a closer look if this is a priority for you, because we actually require all of our students to study abroad at Goucher. It's a little unique. So if you come to Goucher, you have to study abroad. I don't want that to sound mandatory. It's a really fun, exciting thing. And another thing I like to emphasize, you can go wherever you want. So it's not like you're limited by your major. You can go for a full semester. You can go for just 3 weeks. Again, you can go wherever you like, but environmental studies students have gone in the past to Central and South America to look at different ecological systems. Europe has a range of different things. I'm actually don't have enough time to go into that. Africa, I know there's a couple popular ones, like there's an education program in South Africa, a dance program in Ghana. But come to Goucher if you like study abroad, because we have everyone do that. Quick look at athletics. We're a small D3 school, so we have here men's and women's sports. There's also plenty of intramural pickup games, a lot of clubs that, again, I don't have time to get into, more serious things or just kind of fun things on campus. It's a very active group. Also, I mentioned the horses briefly. If you're a competitive horseback rider, we have a very high achieving team. And then finally, just some post-grad metrics here. 96% of our grads were either employed or in graduate school a year after leaving. You'll get a lot of help with that in terms of career exploration. We have a whole office to help with that and to help you get into grad school. Kind of don't have time to go over this slide, but just basically this is a recent study looking at the average earnings for Goucher grads, seeing that the net present value was very high. So that's always just a nice thing to see. Deadlines, we have early action and regular decision. This is last year's, but we're pretty much, no qualms about one or the other for us. All merit scholarship is automatic, so there's nothing you have to seek out there. And just the average, we handed back, nearly all students got some financial aid, but the averages that we handed back to families last year. So I'm seeing we're out of time. I can list more contact information in the chat. We are available for virtual and in-person visits. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. We really appreciate it. Just a friendly reminder that if you have any questions at all, to feel free to submit those through the Q&A. Our representatives are here and available to answer any questions you have. And if you have a specific question, to also note the school name. The next representative is from Bridgewater College.
All right, let me get that I had it already. All right, can you guys see a red Bridgewater screen? Perfect. All right, so my name is Jessie Barley. I am with Bridgewater College. Bridgewater is located in the state of Virginia. We're about 2.5 hours south of Washington, D.C. A little bit of an overview of Bridgewater. We're only about 1,600 students, so definitely if you're looking to go to a small school where you can get to meet a lot of other students, no matter if you're a senior or a freshman, you're going to get to meet a lot of people on campus. Pretty close to a 50-50 split between males and females. A third of our students are NCAA athletes. We are a Division III school, a part of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. So if you were interested in athletics, definitely go ahead and reach out to the coaches directly. You can find their contact information on our athletics website. And then I also put our mid-50 GPA and test scores on there as well. We are going to continue on with test optional. So if you've taken the SAT or ACT and want to sort of look at your scores that way, but if you haven't taken that for Bridgewater purposes, you don't have to submit scores. As far as academics go, over 50 majors and minors for you to choose from. Business is our top major, along with biology, health and exercise science, psychology, and then we also have liberal studies in our top 5 there. But again, you can come in undecided, you can change your major. I just graduated from Bridgewater last May, so May 2020, and I ended up changing my major while I was here. I added a minor, so you definitely have time, within your 4 years to decide on what major fits you perfect and what you want to continue on with. We do have 4 graduate programs as well, but again, like I said, if you want to come to a small school where you can get to meet a lot of people, have that one-on-one connection with professors, Bridgewater is definitely your place. Our average class size is 19. So you really have the opportunity to, if you're struggling in class or have a question, where you can go up to your professor and they're going to know who you are. I have professors that I had one time my freshman year that still know who I am today. So that's pretty neat that they can recognize me across campus and we can sit and have a conversation and all of that. As far as things to do on campus, Bridgewater is fully residential. So all 4 years you live here on campus. So it really just helps build with the community. And like I said, you'll get to meet a lot of people that way. Usually students live in a dorm the first 2 years. And then after that, we have apartments that you can move into, as well as Stone Village, which are also apartments, but those are a little bit larger and have potential for more roommates to move into your apartment with you. AC in all the residences, which is nice to have AC, free laundry, and we also have an unlimited meal plan for you. So you don't have to keep track of how many swipes you use each week, or if you need to buy more swipes, or how many times you go into the dining hall. You just swipe in, whenever you want to go in throughout the week. Over 60 clubs and organizations on campus for you. I mentioned we're about 2.5 hours south of Washington, D.C. We're probably about an hour or so from the Blue Ridge Parkway. So if you like to do anything outdoors, such as hiking, fishing, canoeing, anything like that, Bridgewater is the perfect place to do it. Intramural sports, I was a big intramural sport player. Basketball, bowling, soccer, flag football, pretty much anything you could think of, they'll turn into an intramural sport. We also have a campus engagement and activities team, and they are responsible for putting on an event every weekend that's free for students to go to, whether that's a speaker on campus or a comedian, or they have live music. If it's a movie weekend, anything like that, they put on every weekend so students have something to do right here on campus. As far as financial aid, at Bridgewater, there's 3 types of aid available to you. The first is the institutional aid. The merit scholarships are going to be based off of your high school GPA as well as your test scores if you submit test scores. Those scholarships start at $21,000 and go all the way up to $30,000. If you're out of the state of Virginia, we do have an out-of-state scholarship that you will get from the college as well. If you're a member of the Church of the Brethren, we have a scholarship for you as well. The state aid, the VTAG grant, that's money from the state. It's 2 3-page form that you fill out. And then the FAFSA form, I'm sure everyone will get familiar with here soon. If you're not already, that is just a federal form that you fill out based off of your family's tax information, and then send that to all the schools that you're interested in. 99% of our students receive financial aid. 28,000 was the average aid for this past school year. So there's definitely some room there to have, financial aid available to you. real quick about admissions and how to apply. There's 2 ways to apply. You can do the Bridgewater application on our website, or you can also fill out the Common App as well. We'll take both of them. They're both free, so you don't have to worry about finding a fee waiver or anything like that. We are going to continue on with test optional, as I said. So if you haven't had the chance to take one of those 2 tests, the ACT or SAT, for Bridgewater, you wouldn't have to. Rolling admissions, so we're reviewing applications every day. So once you get your application completed, you'll have a decision back within 2 weeks. And then the supplemental items, just your transcript and your test scores there. And then should just be my contact information. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be here throughout the chat, throughout the evening, and then you can always reach back out as well.
Great. The next representative is from Longwood University.
Hi guys, let me share my screen. All right. Perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Gilson and I am a admissions counselor at Longwood. I also am a Longwood graduate, and today I'm just going to share some quick information with you all. To start, a little bit of information about Longwood is we are a 4-year public liberal arts school in Virginia. So we are right in the middle of the state, about an hour and a half west of Richmond. To give you an idea, we have about 5,000 undergraduate students and 700 graduate students. So we're able to keep our average class size to 18. So you really get to know your professors and they get to know you. You're not just a number in the classroom, which is what our students really like. We have about 25% diversity. We are 70% female and 30% male, with 20 different countries represented. But we do have over 100 different areas of study, including our majors, minors, and concentrations. I don't have a full list to show you all, but our top majors are education, business, psychology, criminal justice, and nursing. But really, it's anything you can think of. We have lots of options that you can take part in, and then all of our students will complete either a research, internship, or study abroad opportunity while they're a student with us. We also have our students very involved on campus. We are a Division I school in the Big South Conference, so we have 6 men's and 8 women's teams. Outside of those, though, we do have club and intramural sports. So if you still want to continue playing a sport, but maybe in a different aspect, we have opportunities for you. And then we have over 175 clubs and organizations. So really, with clubs, you can find anything that you're interested in, or starting your own organization. There's something always happening with our students, and always new organizations that I know that they really enjoy, from your traditional Greek life and community service to there's a Lego club and a Harry Potter club. So really, whatever you may be interested in, you're able to do when you're on campus. For admission side, we are test optional for fall 2022. We have announced, which we're very excited about to be able to do again for you. So you do not need to take the SAT or ACT this year. I do have the mid-ranges from fall 2020 on screen though. So if you are curious about them, our GPA ranged from a 3.21 to a 3.93. SAT was a 980 to 1160, and ACT was a 19 to a 25. While we have those numbers, we do take a very holistic look when making our admissions decisions. So we look at everything about you. We don't want the numbers to necessarily scare you away from applying, because we have optional personal statements, as well as you have the ability to submit a letter of recommendation if you'd like to, but they're not required to do so. We have 3 deadlines, even though 2 are only posted on the screen. The first is November 2nd, which is only for nursing students. And then December 1st is for all of our other students. And then March 1st will also be our regular decision deadline, which is for anyone but nursing. And those will be for this coming year as well. And then to apply, we try to keep it very simple for you, especially now that you don't have to submit test scores. The only required document is your high school transcript. One thing to note is that if you are thinking about nursing, our nursing program is a little bit different, where there are some more additional requirements needed for it, such as your nursing essay. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you have specific questions about it, I'm more than happy to answer them for you. But it is a direct entry program, which is why it's a little bit different for you to have to submit that additional information for us to see. But aside from that transcript, we don't need anything else when you're applying with us. And then for cost, for our in-state Virginia residents, it's about $26,000. Out of state is about $40,000, but this is your tuition fees, room and board, everything included in it. That's the amount that you'd be looking at paying before any financial aid is taken into consideration. We also have scholarships. We have merit-based ones, which are solely based off of your GPA. But then we also have our Honors College offers additional scholarships that you're able to apply towards your account. In addition to when you submit your FAFSA, we'll add it all up so you could get your full financial award package. So we can make that number as small as we can, working with you. And then we are doing in-person and virtual visit options. So if you want to come down and visit Longwood, you have the ability to do so. Or if you want to stick online, you can do that as well. I didn't put my direct contact information, but our General Office of Admissions is the best way to contact us. Most of the numbers are the same, but you can always call, text, email, however you'd like to ask questions. We're always more than happy to answer them if you don't get them answered tonight. But thank you so much.
Very helpful, thank you. Just another reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those using the Q&A button. If you have a specific question, to also note the school name. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from the University of Virginia.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to all. Thank you so much to all my colleagues here for making this event possible, and thank you to the folks at PCACAC and StriveScan for bringing us all here together, and thank you for sticking around to hear about the University of Virginia. My name is Tom McGovern. I'm an assistant dean of admission here at UVA, and I'm so excited to share with you just a little bit about UVA. There's way more to know than could possibly be covered in 6 minutes. But check out some of our social media accounts on the bottom of this page if you want more information, and I'll talk about how to find more later on. So I'm joining you here from Charlottesville, Virginia, which is where UVA is located. We're about 2 hours south of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area and about an hour to the west of Richmond, Virginia. We're located in the city of Charlottesville, right at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which you can see in the background of my slide here today. Just a quick overview of UVA and what we're about. UVA was founded over 200 years ago by Thomas Jefferson, with the goal of educating citizen scholars to lead what was at the time the very new nation of the United States of America. And so while UVA has changed a lot since its founding over 200 years ago, that mission of educating folks who would be lifelong learners and use their learning to go make changes and make their communities and the global community better, those missions are still at the heart of everything we do today. I do also just want to spend a brief moment of time on this introductory slide where you can see our original university space. And UVA was founded with those goals in mind in the physical space. Those tall buildings connected by the shorter buildings right in the middle alongside that big area of grass. That was the original university, and it was designed so that professors would live and teach in the large buildings while the smaller buildings connecting them were students' dorm rooms. The idea was learning was something that couldn't be confined to the classroom, but was a lifelong endeavor. And so the space was designed to facilitate that. And obviously the university is much bigger than that today, but that those spaces still serve their original purpose, and that those ethos are still at the heart of everything we do here. A few facts to be familiar with in terms of conceptualizing your college search and UVA's place in it. In admissions jargon, we are a mid-sized public flagship research university with a focus on the undergraduate experience. That's a lot of admission jargon. We have about 16,000 undergraduate students here, but the focus is still going to be on that tight-knit liberal arts experience. One thing to know about us as a university, there's not just one single entity. That is the University of Virginia. We are composed of a bunch of smaller schools. Those schools aren't mutually exclusive. Students can take courses across them. Students can major across them even. They're really your home base, and they're going to set your graduation requirements during your time here at UVA. The great thing about them is if you have a very specific niche interest, chances are you'll be able to do research with a professor here at UVA that is doing that. But you'll also have access to those small, tight-knit classroom experiences, as you can see here. Two numbers I want to draw your attention to are the retention rate and the graduation rate, which are both among the top in the nation. And I think that really just speaks to the amount of support that exists here for UVA students in the collaborative environment that they have here. As I mentioned, we're composed of a bunch of different schools. We won't make you pick a major when you apply to UVA. You'll be able to declare your major when you get here, but you will have to pick a school, and that's because some of those schools will have requirements that begin in that first year. So when you apply to UVA, you'll have those 5 options on the left-hand side. As you move through the university, after 2 years in the College of Arts and Sciences, those options on the right will become available to you for your last 2 years here at the University of Virginia. With 16,000 undergraduate students, we have students involved in pretty much anything that you can imagine. There are over 1,000 different student-led clubs and organizations. About 45% of our students study abroad. About 75% of them will also each participate in internships and research. So there's more to do and see here at UVA than any one student could ever accomplish. I also want to touch on our really supportive school culture. This is our 2019 National Basketball Championship team, which was a huge moment for the UVA campus. And so it's not uncommon to see UVA students coming out and supporting each other in all of their pursuits. I also want to touch briefly on affording college. UVA has really robust need-based aid. We're one of only a few public universities that is both need blind in our admission review, meaning we admit students regardless of their ability to pay, and committed to meeting 100% of demonstrated need, meaning that if you are unable to afford the cost of UVA education, you'll submit the FAFSA and the CSS profile, and we'll make the difference between what your family can afford to contribute to the cost of UVA and the total cost of attendance completely. There are lots of ways to get in touch with us. We are not yet offering in-person tours, but we hope to be able to do so soon. But in the meantime, I highly recommend you check out one of our virtual information sessions and tours on our website and connect with us via all of these sources. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All great information shared. And so thank you to all our presenters for being here. We do have some time left. And so at this point, we're going to pivot into our Q&A portion of this session. I invite all our presenters to please turn on their cameras to get ready to unmute themselves. And we'll go ahead and start with our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? Again, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented it.
All right, I believe I'm first then. I guess my favorite advice that I give to people is to visit schools. When I went through the college search process, I'm originally from New York City. I knew I wanted to leave New York City and experience something different. I thought I wanted to go to a larger school. And then I went and visited a bunch of large schools and realized it wasn't for me. And it was only through visiting that I got to experience like what was the right school for me. So I always recommend students, families, visit. You can start as early as you want, but it is honestly for me the best thing.
Great, and I think I'm next up. Yeah, I was gonna second that. That's great information. People come to our campus, and it's the in-person experience is really important. I would say something that families might not realize is if a student's really serious about a college, they should reach out to us, which is the admissions counselors. A lot of people, well, I'll say, in a normal travel season when I'm visiting schools in person, I hand out a lot of business cards, and I genuinely want students to contact me, email me. Not a ton always do, but those who do, I can often connect them to a student who's from their area or a professor who teaches towards an interest that they think would be really cool. And you're not necessarily going to find that just in searching the stats and the websites of different colleges. So utilize us as a resource because we can really connect you to parts of a college that you might not know about.
Yeah, both of those were great pieces of advice. So I'll try to, I guess, continue on and add a third piece is don't be afraid if your academic plans change. Like I mentioned, I changed my major. Like I thought I was very set in what I wanted to do. And then turns out my first year, I was like, maybe not so much. So it's okay if your academic plans change, rely on just your relationships that you build with professors and upperclassmen as well, and teammates and everything like that, to sort of help you through that process.
Yeah, those are all really good. I would definitely say don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no question that's too small. I was a first generation student, so I was there. I get it. There's questions that you might think are silly, but they're important, and we want to help you any way that we can during your college search process.
This is a really tough crowd to follow because you all had such great answers and took most of my usual ones. But I think if I had to just add on to the fantastic notes my colleagues made, I would just say that this is a really good time to be looking at colleges because all of us have virtual information sessions now. There's so much information out there about different schools. So definitely attend the sessions that different schools are offering. Go hear what they have to say about their schools, about their admission processes. If there are virtual tours, you can do all of that legwork, from the comfort of your own home to narrow down your list of the schools you want to see in person. And don't be afraid to cast a wide net because there are so many incredible schools out there that you might not even be aware of. So don't tie yourself into just one school or finding the perfect fit, but find a whole bunch of schools that would all be amazing for you.
Great advice, all different advice, but great advice. So it's always great to hear directly from those who work at their respective institutions. And as they've stated, they are a resource. So feel free to use them and contact them. Our next question here is, what is your favorite event or tradition on campus? What is your favorite event or tradition on campus?
Same order again. Okay, I'll start. So my favorite, I guess, tradition for Marist, it starts with move-in day. So for move-in day, a lot of our upperclassmen students come back to campus early and help the first-year students move in. So as a first-year student, you just show up with your family, car packed, and all the upperclassmen kind of lift everything out of the car and up into your room. So then you just get that opportunity to just spend with your family. And then that afternoon, we start with the kind of fun games on the athletic field, and then it ends with a kind of block party DJ, fireworks kind of deal. So it's a lot of fun to welcome everyone to campus.
Yeah, I'd say for events, it'd probably have to be what we call Get Into Goucher Day, just GIG, they call it for short. They basically just turn the whole campus into kind of a carnival. Courses are canceled at noon, and it's just a bunch of fun things that you might think you're like too old for in college, but you're definitely not. You know, there's bouncy houses and laser tag. They usually set up like cotton candy, and there's a lot of we have a lot of performing arts students at Goucher, so there's a lot of student bands that'll play throughout the day. We usually can cover the whole afternoon with just student bands, so it's a lot of fun every spring.
My favorite tradition at Bridgewater is on one of our campus buildings, so Memorial Hall. There is a victory bell, is what we call it, at the top. So it rings to welcome students to campus in the fall at graduation. So when we got to have our in-person graduation for my class of 2020 a couple weekends ago, you know, we were standing there about to walk in and they rang the bell. And then anytime one of our athletic teams gets a win, if it's home or away, you go over to Memorial whenever you get back to campus, or if you're already on campus, and you as the players and coaches get to go in and ring the bell, and all the fans and students come out. So the victory bell and ringing that is probably a big tradition on campus, and probably a lot of people, that's their favorite thing.
I think my favorite tradition would be Color Wars. So we do this to kick off our Oktoberfest weekend. And if you come in an odd year, you're our green class. If you come in an even year, you're a red class, and stand on the opposite side of the field and just run and throw paint at each other. Our president, he's right in the middle of it too. Like, even if you're not participating in it, it's so much fun to go out and watch. And it kicks off a fun weekend of bands and clubs and organizations having booths out. That I think it's definitely my top tradition that we have.
That's a tough one to follow. But if I had to pick my favorite UVA tradition, I would say it's our annual snowball fight every year on the first snowfall of the year, which in Virginia can be as early as October and as late as the week before spring break. Students will spontaneously assemble on the lawn, which is that main university space at midnight. For a massive snowball fight, no matter what time of year it is, no matter what is going on. It's incredible to see because like literally the whole campus converges in the middle of the night. Everyone runs out of the libraries and out of the residence halls to go just pelt each other with snow. And it's the only snowball fight I know of that happens on a UN World Heritage site. So that's pretty cool too.
And thank you. Great information. I always say that's my favorite question, is to get a sense of what each school and college is like and university. So thank you all for sharing your favorite traditions, things that make your campus unique. And I think all of them is hard to beat, right? Wherever you go. So thank you to our presenters for all the great information, for being here. And thank you to each of you for joining us. As we close, will be a very quick 4-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, your feedback is greatly appreciated. There are more sessions happening, so feel free to sign up for more at the same place where you registered for this one. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/PCACAC. Again, thank you all and have a great night.